Hello everyone! Welcome back to our channel. Before we begin, I want to ask you one simple question. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you work, life keeps asking for more? Have you ever watched your parents sacrifice their own happiness just to give you a better future? Or perhaps you are the one carrying those responsibilities today. If your answer is yes, then this podcast is for you. Today, we are not going to talk about success that happens overnight or dreams that come true without effort. We are going to talk about the quiet reality of middle-class families, the sacrifices that are rarely appreciated, the dreams that refuse to disappear, and the strength that helps ordinary people continue moving forward, one day at a time. The silent struggles that few people see. Have you ever looked at a family that seems completely normal from the outside? They have a small home. The children go to school every morning. The parents leave for work, and everything appears peaceful. People smile when they meet their neighbors, celebrate birthdays, attend family gatherings, and continue their daily routines. From a distance, their lives may look comfortable, and many people assume that everything is going well. However, behind those smiles, there is often a story that very few people ever hear. Many middle-class families carry responsibilities that remain invisible to the outside world. They wake up every day not because life is easy, but because giving up is never an option. Every new morning brings another chance to solve yesterday's problems while preparing for tomorrow's challenges. For many middle-class families, life is not about becoming rich overnight or living a life of luxury. Their biggest dream is often much simpler. They want to pay their bills on time, provide a good education for their children, take care of their parents, and enjoy a peaceful life without constant financial worry. These dreams may sound ordinary, but achieving them often requires extraordinary effort. Every month begins with hope, careful planning, and a long list of responsibilities. Rent or home loans must be paid. Electricity, water, and internet bills arrive one after another. School fees, transportation costs, groceries, medical expenses, and unexpected emergencies slowly reduce the family's income until very little remains. By the end of the month, many families quietly wonder how they will manage until the next salary arrives. One of the most difficult parts of middle-class life is that success and struggle often exist together. A father may wear a clean shirt, carry a laptop, and go to work every morning, but nobody sees the pressure he feels when he worries about paying next month's school fees. A mother may smile while preparing dinner and making sure everyone eats well, but she may secretly skip buying something she needs because the family's budget is already too tight. Children may laugh while playing with their friends, completely unaware that their parents spent many sleepless nights deciding how to pay for new books, uniforms, or medical treatment. These sacrifices rarely appear in photographs, yet they are made every single day with love and quiet determination. There is another challenge that many middle-class families experience, but seldom discuss openly. Society often expects them to appear successful even when life is becoming increasingly difficult. They may feel pressure to wear good clothes, celebrate festivals, attend social events, and maintain the appearance that everything is fine. Sometimes they avoid talking about financial difficulties because they fear being judged or misunderstood. As a result, many people carry heavy emotional burdens in silence. They continue smiling, continue working, and continue encouraging their children, even when they themselves feel tired and uncertain about the future. Many parents believe that education is the greatest gift they can give their children. Because of this belief, they are willing to sacrifice many personal comforts. They postpone buying new clothes, delay repairing their home, or cancel a family vacation so that their children can receive better opportunities. They understand that knowledge has the power to change lives. Every notebook they purchase, every tuition fee they pay, and every hour they spend supporting their children's education is an investment in a future they hope will be brighter than their own. Although these sacrifices are rarely noticed by others, they become the foundation upon which future generations build their dreams. One of the hardest realities of middle-class life is learning to live between hope and uncertainty. Every promotion at work brings excitement, but it may also bring new responsibilities. Every salary increase feels encouraging, but rising prices often reduce its impact. Families celebrate small victories because they understand that every achievement represents countless hours of hard work. Buying a refrigerator after years of saving, moving into a slightly larger home, or finally paying off a loan may seem like ordinary events to others. But for the family who worked patiently toward those goals, they become unforgettable moments filled with gratitude and pride. Many young people growing up in middle-class families experience a unique kind of pressure. They know that their parents have worked tirelessly to provide opportunities they never had. As they grow older, they begin to understand the sacrifices hidden behind everyday life. They notice their parents comparing prices before buying groceries. They notice conversations about bills becoming quieter whenever children enter the room. They notice birthdays becoming simpler because other expenses have become more important. These experiences often inspire young people to dream of building a better future, not only for themselves, but also for the parents who believed in them from the very beginning. Unfortunately, comparison has become another silent challenge in modern life. Social media often shows beautiful vacations, expensive cars, luxurious homes, and perfect lifestyles. After seeing these images every day, many people begin comparing their own lives with carefully selected moments from someone else's life. They wonder why they cannot afford the same things or achieve success as quickly. What they rarely see are the struggles, failures, debts, disappointments, and years of patient effort hidden behind those photographs. Comparison steals peace because it encourages people to measure their lives against incomplete stories instead of appreciating their own unique journey. Despite these challenges, there is something truly remarkable about many middle-class families. They continue moving forward. They understand that life may not always be easy, but they refuse to stop trying. They celebrate birthdays with homemade cakes instead of expensive parties. They enjoy family dinners even when the meal is simple. They find happiness in conversations, laughter, shared memories, and the hope that tomorrow can be better than today. Their strength does not come from having unlimited money. It comes from supporting one another through every difficult season of life. Perhaps the greatest lesson we can learn from these families is that true wealth is not measured only by the amount of money in a bank account. Real wealth is found in love that remains strong during difficult times, in parents who never stop believing in their children, in children who grow up appreciating every sacrifice, and in families who choose hope even when life becomes uncertain. These quiet acts of courage rarely receive public attention, yet they shape the character of millions of ordinary people who continue building better lives one day at a time. If you come from a middle-class family, or if you know someone who does, remember that every unseen sacrifice matters. Every long working day, every careful financial decision, every delayed personal dream, and every act of love contributes to a future that is being built slowly but steadily. Progress may not always be fast, and success may not arrive exactly when expected, but consistent effort has a way of changing lives over time. The road may be long, but every small step taken with honesty, patience, and determination brings a family closer to the future they have been working toward for so many years. Part 2. Living between dreams and responsibilities. As children grow older, they slowly begin to understand that life is much more complicated than it appeared when they were young. During childhood, many things seem automatic. Food appears on the table every day. School fees are somehow paid on time, clothes are ready to wear, and the lights always turn on when a switch is pressed. A child rarely thinks about who earned the money, who planned the monthly budget, or who stayed awake at night worrying about tomorrow. It is only when they become adults that they realize every comfortable moment they enjoyed was built on years of sacrifice, careful planning, and countless difficult decisions made by their parents. For many middle-class families, every month begins with hope and ends with careful calculation. The day the salary arrives often brings a feeling of relief because the family knows they can finally pay the bills waiting on the table. However, that feeling rarely lasts for long. Rent or home loan payments come first, followed by electricity, water, gas, internet, transportation, groceries, school expenses, insurance, and medical costs. One payment follows another until the salary that once looked sufficient suddenly becomes much smaller. Before the month reaches its middle, many families are already planning how to manage the remaining days without spending more than necessary. They learn to separate needs from wants, understanding that every unnecessary purchase today may create a bigger problem tomorrow. One of the quiet habits that many middle-class parents develop is learning to say no to themselves while saying yes to their children. A father may continue using an old mobile phone for several years because buying a new one can wait until the family's finances improve. A mother may admire a beautiful dress while shopping, but decide not to buy it because that money can be used for her child's school project or examination fees. These choices may appear small, yet they happen repeatedly throughout the year. Most children never notice these sacrifices because loving parents often hide them behind warm smiles and encouraging words. They want their children to focus on learning, growing, and dreaming instead of worrying about financial problems. Education holds a special place in many middle-class families because it represents hope. Parents often believe that education is the bridge between today's struggles and tomorrow's opportunities. They may work extra hours, accept additional responsibilities at work, or even take part-time jobs so that their children can attend better schools or colleges. Every notebook, every textbook, every online course, and every examination fee becomes an investment in a future they deeply believe in. Although the financial burden can be heavy, many parents never complain because they imagine the day when their children will achieve the opportunities they themselves never had. Their happiness comes not from what they own today, but from what they hope their children will achieve tomorrow. At the same time, young people growing up in middle-class families often carry their own emotional burden. As they become more aware of their parents' sacrifices, they begin to feel a strong sense of responsibility. Many students quietly promise themselves that they must study harder because they know how much their parents are giving up for their education. Some avoid asking for expensive items because they understand the family's situation. Others take part-time jobs while studying, hoping to reduce the financial pressure at home. These young people are not only chasing their own dreams, they are also carrying the dreams of the people who believed in them from the very beginning. Life becomes even more challenging when unexpected situations appear. A sudden illness, an emergency repair at home, the loss of a job, or an economic slowdown can change everything within a few days. A family that carefully planned every expense suddenly finds itself facing costs that were never expected. Savings that took years to build may disappear in just a few weeks. During such times, fear quietly enters the home, but so does courage. Family members begin supporting one another in new ways. They reduce unnecessary spending, share responsibilities, encourage each other, and remind themselves that difficult times do not last forever. These moments reveal the true strength of a family, because unity often becomes more valuable than money. Modern society also creates another challenge that many middle-class families quietly experience. People often compare their progress with others, They see friends buying larger houses, driving new cars, traveling to different countries, or celebrating expensive occasions. Without realizing it, comparison begins to replace gratitude. Families sometimes feel they are falling behind simply because someone else appears to be moving faster. However, appearances rarely tell the complete story. Every family has different responsibilities, different opportunities, and different struggles. Comparing one journey with another often creates unnecessary sadness because no two lives are exactly the same. Social media has made this comparison even stronger. Every day, millions of people share photographs of happy moments, luxury vacations, successful careers, and exciting achievements. While these moments may be real, they represent only a small part of life. Very few people share their sleepless nights, financial worries, disappointments, or personal failures. As a result, viewers often compare their everyday reality with someone else's highlight moments. This creates unrealistic expectations and unnecessary pressure. True happiness becomes difficult to find when people constantly measure their lives against carefully selected images that do not show the complete picture. Despite these pressures, middle-class families continue finding joy in simple moments that money cannot buy. A family dinner after a long day of work, a quiet evening spent talking together, watching a favorite movie, celebrating a birthday with homemade food, or simply laughing together over old memories often creates happiness that expensive possessions cannot replace. These moments remind us that while financial stability is important, emotional connection is equally valuable. Families become stronger not because they never face problems, but because they choose to face those problems together. There is also something deeply inspiring about the resilience shown by ordinary people. Resilience means the ability to recover after facing difficulties and to continue moving forward even when life becomes challenging. It does not mean pretending that everything is perfect. Instead, it means accepting reality while refusing to lose hope. Every morning, millions of parents wake up before sunrise, prepare for work, travel through busy streets, work long hours, and return home tired, but still ready to care for their families. Their daily routine may not appear extraordinary, yet it represents remarkable dedication. They continue because love gives them strength that money alone can never provide. Children who grow up watching this determination often carry these lessons throughout their lives. They learn the value of hard work, patience, honesty, and responsibility. They understand that success is rarely built overnight. It grows slowly through consistent effort, careful decisions, and the willingness to continue even when progress seems slow. These lessons become lifelong treasures because they prepare young people to face their own challenges with courage rather than fear. As we reflect on the reality of middle-class life, it becomes clear that true success is not simply about earning a larger salary or owning more expensive things. Real success is waking up each day with the determination to keep moving forward despite uncertainty. It is choosing hope when life becomes difficult, choosing kindness when stress increases, and choosing gratitude even when dreams have not yet come true. The journey may sometimes feel long, but every honest effort, every sacrifice, and every act of love builds a stronger future, one day at a time. Part 3. The emotional weight that no one talks about. There comes a moment in the life of almost every middle-class family when the greatest struggle is no longer financial. It becomes emotional. The bills can be counted, the expenses can be written in a notebook, and the monthly budget can be planned carefully. But there is no notebook that can measure the stress of a parent who worries every night about the future of the family. There is no calculator that can show the value of the dreams quietly sacrificed so that someone else can have a better life. These are the invisible burdens that millions of families carry every single day. They continue smiling, working, and encouraging one another, even when their hearts are filled with uncertainty. The world often celebrates success, but very few people stop to appreciate the long journey of patience, disappointment, and resilience that comes before it. One of the hardest realities of middle-class life is learning to accept that not every dream can happen immediately. Many people grow up believing that if they work hard, everything will quickly fall into place. They imagine that a good education will lead to a perfect job, that a stable income will remove every worry, and that life will become easier with time. However, reality often tells a different story. A young graduate may spend months searching for employment. Someone who finally finds a job may discover that the salary is enough to survive, but not enough to fulfill bigger dreams. Promotions take years. Savings grow slowly. Unexpected expenses appear without warning. Life continues moving forward, but sometimes it feels as though progress is much slower than expected. During these moments, patience becomes one of the most valuable qualities a person can develop. Many middle-class parents carry a quiet fear that they rarely express aloud. They wonder whether they are doing enough for their children. They ask themselves if they should work longer hours, earn more money, or provide better opportunities. Even after giving everything they possibly can, they sometimes feel guilty because they believe they could have done more. This feeling is not created by a lack of love. In fact, it exists because their love is so deep. They want to protect their children from every difficulty they once experienced. But they also understand that some struggles are unavoidable. Every parent dreams of seeing their children live a life that is easier, safer, and filled with greater opportunities. Children, too, experience emotions that are often hidden from others. As they become older, they begin noticing things that escape their attention during childhood. They notice their parents discussing finances in low voices late at night. They notice how carefully every purchase is planned. They understand why vacations are postponed, why birthdays become simpler, or why new clothes are bought only when absolutely necessary. These realizations often change the way young people think about success. Instead of dreaming only for themselves, they begin dreaming for their families. They hope to become someone who can reduce the burdens carried by the people they love most. There are also moments when life feels unfair. A hardworking person may watch someone else succeed much faster. A family that has spent years saving money may suddenly face a medical emergency that consumes those savings within days. A small business may struggle despite honest effort and dedication. These situations can create frustration because they remind us that life does not always reward people immediately for their hard work. Yet even in these moments, many middle-class families continue believing that honesty, patience, and determination will eventually lead them toward a better future. They understand that while they cannot control every situation, they can always control their attitude, their effort, and their willingness to continue. Comparison often becomes another emotional burden. A young professional may look at friends who seem to be earning more money or buying expensive homes. Parents may compare their family with neighbors who appear to have fewer financial worries. Students may compare themselves with classmates who have access to better opportunities. These comparisons slowly steal happiness because they focus attention on what is missing instead of appreciating what already exists. Every family has a different story, different responsibilities, and different challenges. Looking only at someone else's achievements without knowing their complete journey often creates unnecessary disappointment. One of the greatest lessons life teaches is that success cannot always be measured by money alone. Imagine two families. One family owns a large house, expensive cars, and many material possessions, yet they rarely spend time together because everyone is constantly busy. Another family lives in a modest home, shares simple meals, laughs together every evening, and supports one another through every challenge. Financial success certainly provides comfort and security, but emotional connection creates a kind of happiness that cannot be purchased. Many middle-class families discover that their strongest memories are not built around expensive gifts, but around ordinary moments filled with love, kindness, and togetherness. Resilience becomes the quiet hero of this journey. Resilience is the ability to stand up again after life pushes you down. It means refusing to lose hope after disappointment. It means continuing to believe in tomorrow even when today feels difficult. Every time a parent returns to work after facing failure, every time a student continues studying despite repeated setbacks, and every time a family chooses hope instead of despair, resilience is quietly growing stronger. This quality cannot be bought, borrowed, or inherited. It is built through experience, one challenge at a time. There is also a beautiful truth that many people discover only after facing hardship. Difficult times often strengthen relationships in ways that easy times never could. Families learn to appreciate one another more deeply. Children become more grateful for the sacrifices made by their parents. Parents realize that emotional support is sometimes more valuable than financial success. Brothers and sisters learn to stand together instead of competing with one another. These moments remind us that while difficulties may test a family, they can also bring people closer together if they face those challenges with love and understanding. Hope plays a remarkable role in the lives of middle-class families. Hope is not simply wishing that life will become easier. It is waking up every morning and choosing to continue despite uncertainty. It is believing that today's efforts will eventually create tomorrow's opportunities. Hope gives people the strength to attend another job interview after being rejected, to continue studying after failing an examination, to start saving again after losing money, and to keep dreaming even when progress feels painfully slow. Without hope, every challenge appears impossible. With hope, even the longest journey becomes meaningful, because each step carries the promise of a better future. As we reflect on these realities, we begin to understand that true courage is often quiet. It is not always found in dramatic moments or extraordinary achievements. Sometimes courage is simply a mother preparing breakfast before sunrise after sleeping only a few hours. Sometimes it is a father returning to work with a smile despite carrying worries that nobody else can see. Sometimes it is a student opening a textbook late at night because they believe education can change the future of their family. These ordinary acts of determination rarely receive applause, yet they represent some of the greatest examples of human strength. If you are listening to this podcast and you recognize your own family in these stories, remember that your journey matters. Every sacrifice made with love, every challenge faced with honesty, and every dream protected through patience has value. Progress may not always happen as quickly as you hope, but no sincere effort is ever wasted. Every lesson you learn today, every skill you develop, and every act of kindness you show becomes part of the future you are creating. The road may sometimes feel long, but every step forward is proof that you have refused to give up, and that decision alone is something to be proud of.